Today, the call of souls awakening from slumber rises from here. Chosen one, those who have tried to chain you for years have devised dark plans to erase your brightest memories, your purest joy. When they set fire to the bridge of your memory, they thought they would make you forget your identity forever. But they could neither erase your past nor your essence. Write 555 in the comments now, because that sacred spark that God placed inside you was hidden in an untouchable place, so deep that no human hand could touch it. Picture a tightly locked vault, finally clicking open at daybreak. Its hinges creak, and a flood of light pours into chambers where shadows had reigned for years. That's what this moment is for you, beloved. This isn't just a gentle unveiling, it's a sunrise trumpeting across the valley, announcing that the night of secrets has ended. The one who walked beside you, swearing their devotion while secretly striking bargains in the shade, is about to step forward, with hands trembling and words spilling like coins from an overturned purse. Every scheme they stitched together by starlight, every sideways glance of envy, each whisper meant to tarnish your name. Now, it's all being emptied onto the table for the world to see. Imagine a sunbeam striking a dusty old ledger, revealing in perfect clarity every entry once hidden in the dim. There's no more guessing, no more shadow games. The weight of truth, too heavy to carry in the darkness, comes tumbling out the moment real light arrives. And when they come face to face with you, their heart will recognize the authority you carry, the resonance of someone who walks in unfiltered truth, long before their mouth forms an apology. Because, my friend, when the sun rises, even the deepest secrets must step out and bow to the light. You are living proof that no moonless night lasts forever. The trumpet blast of truth has sounded over your life, and what was once concealed is now being handed over, ledger by ledger, line by line, into your outstretched hands. This is the morning God reserved for you, not to simply hear the confessions of those who once betrayed, but to receive the double blessing that comes when you stand strong, illuminated in the fullness of your calling. The room is yours now. The light is yours. And the truth is finally free. Imagine a lighthouse rising above a restless sea, its steady beam sweeping away every shadow on the rocks below. That's the kind of presence you carry. Wherever you go, the pretense and trickery of the world cannot survive your light. Just standing where God planted you, you shine through every layer of disguise, leaving no corner for deception to hide. In boardrooms, kitchens, sanctuaries, or side streets, when your name gets whispered with old intentions, the old schemes melt away like mist in morning sun. You don't even need to shout. The power in your silence unravels every hidden deal. The courage you walk with is not the roar of a lion, but the unwavering certainty of a mountain unmoved by storm or tide. You're the one who changes the very air in a room just by walking in. The folks who once plotted your downfall, who tried to weave your name into their story of bitterness, now find their own voices tangled and mute. In places where poisonous words once echoed, only the sound of honesty remains. Like a tree rooted by living water, you outlasted every storm they threw your way, not by matching their schemes, but by staying anchored in truth. All those who gathered in secret circles to write you out of your own story now watch their plans dissolve in broad daylight. They witness in real time that the integrity you carry is more contagious than their criticism. Their courage, borrowed from gossip and whispers, has fled before your calm, holy strength. Their old alliances are as empty as a stage after the final curtain falls, while you remain standing in the clarity of purpose God has written on your life. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. What's left now is a field cleared of weeds, soil ready for a new harvest. The legacy of your endurance will sprout in places they never expected. Families will heal. Communities will find direction. Old divisions will be mended, not because you forced the issue, but because the light within you has a way of gathering scattered pieces and calling them home. And when the truth walks into the open, it doesn't need a trumpet. It only needs someone with your kind of steady, spirit-filled presence to show what's possible when God's chosen finally steps forward, fearless and free. Just like a weather vane on a church steeple spins to catch the faintest change in the wind, your spirit has always caught the smallest shift in the spiritual climate around you. That radar deep inside, tuned by the hands of heaven, is how you picked up on every chill, every heavy hush, every pit in your stomach that seemed to ring out, "Something's off." Let me tell you, that wasn't worry or paranoia. It was the Holy Spirit sounding an alarm, safeguarding your path while you poured your heart into growth and becoming. While you planted seeds in faith, trusting God for your harvest, there were some who refused to leave the shadows. Like weeds hiding beneath rich soil, they twisted your celebrations, your promotions, your blessings into proof against you. Every joyful moment became a headline for their private tabloid. Every email you sent, every kind word you posted, every photo of you standing in victory, they tried to twist it, screenshot it, repackage it into a weapon for their own agenda. Beloved, these arrows were aimed to wound, but not a single one pierced the covering God placed over your destiny. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Now the wind is shifting. Every breadcrumb they left, every rumor, every manipulated message, every sly DM or secret group chat has become a trail leading straight to the truth. Heaven is flipping the switch on their covert operation. Evidence is rising to the surface, not to shame you, but to vindicate you in front of every witness who doubted your heart. What was once whispered in darkness will be projected on the city walls for all to see. Where they tried to dim your light, the very lies will be the torches that set your story ablaze for God's glory. You never needed to fight dirty. You never had to stoop to their level, because you were chosen to rise, not wrestle in the mud. That internal radar was the gift God put inside you so you'd never be caught off guard, so you'd keep your peace while storms raged outside your window. And now that same radar is confirming what your spirit already knew. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises in judgment is silenced by truth. Let this moment be your confirmation, not your condemnation. You were set apart to carry discernment, to navigate the battlefields that others ignore, and to stand tall when the smoke clears. The narrative is shifting. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good. Get ready for the evidence to stack up, not just in your defense, but as a foundation for your next elevation. This is the season where the compass inside you leads you not only out of the storm, but straight into the sunlight of vindication and fresh anointing, where every eye sees the blessing they tried so hard to hide. Think of a house of cards built on the edge of the ocean, every layer trembling at the mercy of the next wave. That's what their whole narrative really was, a fragile construction, stacked high with fear, glued together with blame, trying desperately to keep the tide of truth at bay. They poured every ounce of energy into convincing the crowd that your blessings came at their expense, rewriting the script until they believed their own fiction. But the sea has no loyalty to sandcastles, beloved. As the tide of revelation rolls in, every false wall and counterfeit motive gets swept away, exposing what's been hidden under layers of self-preservation and denial. What's left when the waves pull back isn't a villain's mask, but a testimony carved by endurance, a story that never needed embellishment to shine. In the glare of this new dawn, it's easy to see their betrayals weren't acts of justice, but seeds planted by insecurity, watered by jealousy, and harvested in silence. The real plot twist? Every accusation leveled against you was just a mirror of their own struggle with unworthiness. You stood on the shore while their sandcastles fell, still standing, still chosen, still here by divine appointment. Just as the shoreline is reshaped with each rising sun, your presence rewrites the whole landscape. The waves of truth don't just wash away what's false, they reveal the bedrock of destiny beneath your feet. They show that no matter how elaborate the fiction, no story built on fear and falsehood can stand against the purpose God planted in you. This isn't just your vindication, it's a holy unveiling. And as every lie dissolves into the sea, your life becomes the lighthouse for everyone still searching for solid ground. Picture a stage shrouded in velvet, every spotlight controlled from the shadows by an unseen hand. When the curtain finally lifts, the one orchestrating the drama can no longer hide in the wings. The day comes, chosen one, when the puppeteer must step into the very glow they tried to avoid. Suddenly, every note scribbled in secrecy, every whispered pact, every carefully timed ambush is illuminated for all to see, like constellations suddenly mapped in the night sky by a burst of lightning. The original architect, who saw your radiance and trembled, choosing sabotage instead of surrender, will be unmasked before the congregation. Every soul caught up in the snare, every thread of deception woven into their tapestry will be laid bare and unraveled. The snarl of confusion will loosen, and truth will travel through the whole house, untangling every knot until there's nowhere left for shadows to hide. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. And beloved, in the simple language of a Sunday morning, let me tell you, God always reveals what is hidden in darkness. That's the promise of the lighthouse for ships lost in a storm. The assurance that what's orchestrated against you in secret cannot withstand the light that now breaks through you. You aren't just a survivor of plots. You are the rising sun that exposes every plan, the trumpet call that signals it's a new day. Even the hands that tried to steer the narrative will have no choice but to admit your story belongs to a higher author, and no shadow can erase what's written in the ink of truth. So don't look back for the approval of the crowd. Let the net fall. Let every hidden thing come into the open, for heaven's script is unfolding right where you stand, and it's your light that makes the difference. The final act belongs to you, the one who refused to be diminished, who rises as the living proof that when the curtain lifts, truth stands center stage and never bows to darkness. Imagine a city at night where every window is dark except for one radiant lamp burning in the highest tower, a beacon the fog cannot hide, a glow even the slyest trickster can't snuff out. That's the energy you carry, beloved. The very ones who tried to move in silence, plotting in the quiet corners and sharpening their words like hidden knives, now find themselves exposed beneath your unshakable light. They came in whispers, tossing out harmless jests meant to undermine, scattering suspicion in the fertile soil of gossip and hoping you'd never see their handiwork. Behind closed doors, they drafted schemes, drawing circles around your closest bonds and searching for any weakness to exploit, waiting with wolfish patience, convinced you'd falter just long enough for them to pounce. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Yet what they didn't count on was the way heaven flips a script. Every time you stumbled, they pointed and pounced, eager to claim proof of your unworthiness. But every gotcha moment was just a step in your ascent. God used your vulnerability as a platform, turning what they intended for harm into a lesson in grace, resilience, and supernatural elevation. The floodlights are swinging now, and every corner where they schemed is being swept with holy radiance, revealing not just their games, but the power you possess when you stand tall in your true identity. See, a lighthouse doesn't chase ships across the storm. It just stands tall and shines, unbothered by the waves crashing below. That's your story. The more they try to cover your brilliance, the brighter you become. Their daggers break on your armor. Their gossip crumbles under the weight of your unshakable dignity. Every plot, hatched in the dark, is unraveling in the morning sun. While they scurry to find new shadows, you rise, anchored, unafraid, and set apart for something so much greater than the opinions of those who never understood your worth. You don't need to stoop to their level. You don't have to clap back with venom or bitterness. The atmosphere itself is changing because your presence is shifting the climate. Where suspicion once reigned, faith is being born. Where division took root, unity now blossoms. Your very footsteps disrupt their plans, like a lion's roar scattering a flock of jackals, because the divine anointing on your life cannot be hidden, no matter how dense the fog or how fierce the opposition. Beloved, you are heaven's lantern on the hill, unmoved by the tides, unshaken by the schemes. Let them watch in awe as every lie turns into your launching pad. Every accusation becomes another layer of gold in the crown God is building for you. This is more than vindication, it's elevation. And as the spotlight of truth sweeps through every dark hallway, know that you are walking into a season where your story is the sermon, your resilience, the testimony, and your light the invitation for others to find their way out of the shadows and into God's marvelous day. Think of yourself as a seed pressed down beneath layers of hard earth, waiting through storm after storm while nobody notices. Every accusation, every slander, every twisted story was just another handful of dirt, but it couldn't choke out the life inside you. See, all those funhouse mirrors and carnival tricks were just temporary tents. The real show is the harvest God planted in you before the foundations of the world. It's not about how loud the crowd gets or how they rearrange the stage. When that shell finally breaks, what comes out is more beautiful and powerful than anything they ever tried to bury. You've walked through a season where labels stuck to you like wet leaves in a hurricane. Too much, not enough, too happy, too reserved. Yet, in all the confusion, something deeper was taking root. Your identity wasn't shaped by the carnival barker's shouts, but by the gardener's gentle hand. Even as they tried to rewrite your story, heaven's version was being written in bold script beneath the surface, watered by grace and patience. Beloved, now comes the breaking of day. Their crooked house of mirrors, warped and cracked by their own hands, can't hold your reflection anymore. Where they painted you in grays and shadows, the light of God's promise starts shining through the cracks, turning their distortions into windows for truth to pour in. No matter how many accusations were hurled, your roots only grew deeper. When they called you distant, you learned to hear the still, small voice inside. When they mocked your joy, you learned that true gladness comes from a well that doesn't run dry. Now, as their gallery of distortions collapses, you step forward as the artist of your own portrait. The rules of their game, where you were always in the wrong, no longer bind you. You're not just escaping their frame. You're picking up the brush and painting a new canvas with colors only heaven could supply. Your story is shifting. The script is being rewritten, and your voice is the pen that God trusts to draw the next chapter. In this new season, your very presence becomes a testimony, a living picture of mercy, resilience, and purpose that outshines the confusion of yesterday. The world may still throw its opinions like mud, but your roots run so deep that even the fiercest storm can't topple what's anchored in God. The funhouse is gone. The old mirrors are shattered. The reflection left standing is the one the Creator put there, a reflection that cannot be erased or blurred, a portrait that glows with a peace only the chosen truly know. And every step you take, every word you speak, paints a brighter path for others lost in the maze, showing them that it's not the labels that define us, but the light within that no darkness can extinguish. Imagine a single seed falling into the most parched, cracked earth, left for dead by every passing eye. But in God's timing, that seed splits the ground with roots that draw rivers from the deep, and a harvest springs up in a place the world wrote off as barren. Beloved, your journey isn't just about exposing what failed or tallying up the wounds. They were never the main story. Your life is a living parable, and God never lets His chosen ones walk through the furnace just to count their scars. The heat was never meant to consume you. It was always about forging you into a vessel strong enough to carry something greater than what you lost. There are times when the spotlight swings onto you, not to highlight the ashes you survived, but to reveal the harvest growing from the places where pain once reigned. You're not left clutching what the fire destroyed. You're stepping onto a stage built out of restoration. When the curtain falls and the crowd quiets, your reputation, purified and unbreakable, becomes the foundation for new things. That's the platform where every burned bridge is rebuilt with the timber of grace, and your testimony reaches the boardroom, the living room, and the sanctuary with the same authority. It's not just survival you're celebrating, but transformation, because the God who led you through the valley, didn't bring you out just to tell the story of the loss. No, he sent you to write the next act in the book of transformation, to author a chapter that wasn't even in the enemy's script. Every trial is now a paragraph in the legacy of faith you're writing, bold and unshakable, inked in mercy and sealed with victory. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to his plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, his protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of his divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as his mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. You see, when others look for what's ruined, God points to what's rising. That's your legacy, chosen one. Where the world tried to hand you ashes, you bring back wheat. Where old accusations left scorch marks, new beginnings spring up like fields after rain. This is more than endurance, it's harvest season, and you are the proof that heaven plants gardens where the world only sees a graveyard. So don't count the broken things, count the blessings built out of broken ground. The fire that could have ended you is the same flame that revealed what cannot be destroyed. In your story, every ending is really a new beginning, and every scar is a signature of God's faithfulness. You're not just surviving the trials, you are using them as ink to write the next act of transformation, and every word echoes the faith that cannot be shaken. Picture a mighty oak standing at the heart of a windy plain. No matter how many storms sweep through, no matter how many times folks try to hang new signs from its branches, calling it weak, calling it proud, calling it anything but what it is, the tree simply stays rooted, stretching skyward, reaching for the sun that called it forth in the first place. Beloved, that's your story. While others scramble to relabel you with every rumor and every sideways glance, you haven't shifted an inch from your divine foundation. They brought every label in the book, but you carried the only name that matters, the one heaven authored before the world was even spun into motion. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. This is what the seasoned know. In life's gallery, false portraits fade. Temporary titles peel off like old wallpaper when the seasons change, but the image God chiseled into your spirit will outlast every passing opinion. You've faced the cold fronts of accusation, the sideways looks, and the closed-door meetings. Still, you stood, not chasing approval, not bending to fit someone else's mold, but anchored in a truth that's as unmovable as the bedrock beneath your feet. The gossip may have howled, but your peace has been a fortress, your purpose an unbreakable foundation. And here's where it gets good, because when the world's labels drop off, when all their sticky notes flutter away in the breeze, what remains is something eternal. The blueprint of your soul isn't some scribble in the margins, it's a masterpiece signed by the Creator, displayed for all to see when the counterfeits finally fall away. You're not swayed by every change in weather. You've outlasted every storm, and every trial has only polished what was already inside you, a testimony cut from the very stone that holds up the heavens. You are anchored in an identity that can't be changed by public opinion or private rumor. No matter how many times your detractors try to revise your story, your chapter remains untouched, your identity secure in the hands of the author who never edits what he's already called good. Their frantic rewriting can't erase what heaven wrote in permanent ink. Like a great oak standing after a hurricane, you remain. Every rumor, every plot, every season of misunderstanding, none of it could shake the roots heaven planted in you. Now, as the clouds part, the only thing shining in the open is what has been true from the start. You are chosen, you are equipped, and you are unmovable. The world may try to rewrite your story, but God's draft is the final word. And it's beautiful, it's lasting, and it's yours.